Okay, this is the Unit 7 review. So, Part 1 says algebraic expressions and distributive property. Fill in the missing information in the table. So, we get some of the information and we just have to fill in the missing pieces. So, our first step was pick a number. We represent that with the algebra tile X, and our algebraic expression is just the tiles that we see. So, that's just going to be X. Now, the only thing that has changed from this picture to this picture is these four tiles. And same here, we have X and X, which is the same. The only thing that's changing is we're adding 4. So our step is add 4. All right, then they tell us the next step is multiply by 2, which means we took this group of algebra tiles and we made 2 of them that are the same. So we have 2x plus 4s. So we can take and write this in 2 different ways. We can do 2 times x plus 4, or 2x plus 8. You can use the distributive property to rewrite it without parentheses, or you can leave it with the parentheses. Alright, so now our next step is to add 12. To get from 8 to 20, we're adding 12. So we are taking our 2x's and our 2x's and our 8 ones, and then we're going to add on 12 more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now we can see that we have 2 x's and we have 21s. So now to get to our next step, what we need to do is we need to count what we have. So now we have one x tile, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 ones. So now we have x plus 10. So how did we get from 2x to x and from 20 to 10? Well, the step that we took was divide by 2. And then from here to here, we have an x and a 10, and then we just have a 10. So what did we do? We subtracted our original number. And we are left with 10 ones, so that means all we're doing is we're adding up our 10 ones. Okay, so that is all for our number tricks and our algebraic expressions. Then let's go ahead and take a look at part 2, which is our portions webs. And it's been a while since we've done these, but these should still be pretty familiar to us. So let's do this one first. We have 6/10, and that's in our decimal spot. So this 6/10 we can write as 6/10, but then we want to make sure we simplify our answer as much as we possibly can. I know both of these are divisible by 2. So if I divide both of these by 2 over 2, I'm left with 3 over 5. Now there's nothing besides 1 that goes into both 3 and 5 evenly, so I'm done there. That's my simplified fraction. But I also know that 6/10 is the same as 60/100, and I need that for my percent, because 60/100 is the same as 60%. So here I'm just going to write in my words 3/5, or I could draw out my 5 sections there and shade in 3 of them. Any of that would be just fine. Okay, so that's our first decimal, our first portion web. So now we have a fraction for this one, and 1/4 is as simplified as we can get, but we want to make sure we check to see what this is going to be out of 100. Remember, we're still trying to find our fractions that are out of 100. So if I have 4 and I need to multiply to get 100, I'm going to multiply by 25. So then 1 times 25 is 25. So that means this is 25%. And 25 hundredths, that means 25 goes in the hundredth spot. And then I'm just going to put 1/4 in my words or pictures. And I can draw a picture with 1 out of my 4 pieces shaded in. All right, so there we go. Just a reminder again to make sure your fractions are fully simplified. All right, so now we have our unit rate. So we want to make sure we're showing our work here. You will get a calculator if you would like one. But again, anything you type into your calculator, you need to make sure that you are also writing on your test. So Rochelle went on a 4-day road trip. Between the first 2 days, she spent 9 total hours driving and drove 522 miles. What is her average rate of speed in miles per hour? So miles per hour, that means the miles is going to go on top, hours on the bottom. So this is going to be 522 divided, and we had 9 hours, so 522 divided by 9. Let's get our calculator out here. I'm not a robot. Come on. Okay, so we have 522, and we're going to divide by 9. We get 58, and that's a whole number, 58. So this is 58 miles per hour. That's going to go here. And then it says on days 3 and 4, Rochelle drove 8 hours total and drove for 516 miles. So again, I'm going to take 516 and divide that by 8. 64.5. Miles per hour. I'm labeling my answers here. Okay, and then it asks us to compare. So we had 58 on day 1 and 2, and then 64.5 on days 3 and 4, and we have to compare greater than, less than, or equal to. Well, 58 is less than 64, so that's our symbol. We use the less than symbol. All right, the next part is dividing with fractions. So we have 6 and 4/9 divided by 7/4. Remember, we want to do keep, change, flip, but to do that with this mixed number, we want to make sure we multiply, we make our mixed number improper. So 9 times 6 is 54. 54 plus 4 is 58. And our denominator stays the same. And then we're dividing by 7/4. And now we can do our keep, change, flip. We're keeping 58/9 the same, changing division to multiplication, and multiplying by the reciprocal. Our reciprocal is 7/4. So 58 times 4, 232. And then 9 times 7 is 63. All right, so I'm going to do 232 divided by 7. I'm sorry, not by 7, by 63. Divided by 63. Okay, so it goes in 3 whole times. That whole number was a 3, so I know it goes in 3 times. 63 times 3 is 189. So 232 minus 189. What did I do? 232 minus 189. Come on. Is 43. Would be 43 63rds left over. Can we simplify that? I don't think so. So there is our final answer. Let's see. 43 over 63. Nope. Okay. So here we go. The next one. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but the easy way would be to turn that decimal into a fraction and make that 4/10, because the 4 is in the 10th spot. And then we're dividing by 2/7. And now I can keep, change, flip, keep 4/10 the same, and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Remember when we did that with our super fractions and found out that we just flipped the bottom fraction? Alright, so we get 28 and 20. 20 goes into 28 one time, and there'd be 8/20 left over. If I simplify that, I can divide by 2. I'd get 1 and 4/10. But again, I can divide, I'd get 1 and 2/5. There is my answer. Alright, inverses and reciprocals. So, give the inverse operation of add 12. Now we're looking for the operation that would undo adding 12. That's going to be subtract 12. And then the inverse operation of dividing by 8, well, the opposite of multiplying is going to be dividing, or dividing would be multiplying and vice versa. So we're going to multiply by 8. Alright, so that's inverse operations. Now reciprocals. Reciprocals are the flip and keep, change, flip. So 8 can be written as 8 over 1, so the reciprocal would be 1/8, because if I multiply 8 over 1 times 1 over 8, I get 8 over 8, which is really 1. So my reciprocal is 1/8. Remember, it's the number that you can multiply by to make 1. So 2/9 would be 9 over 2, because then you would get 18 over 18, which is 1. So 9 over 2 is my reciprocal.